Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Worked for years. He's got some requests from people to join us.
right, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
And the planning commission, so I just
Yeah, they have a planning
assumed,
committee.
and I shouldn't, that,
Well, you said you got some
somebody
applications,
resigned.
so maybe we'll see somebody show up one of these days. Okay, we have a call to order for the Bartlett Economic Development Commission. Afternoon meeting of July 14th, 2025. May we have a roll call, Tony?
Yes. Jerry Cabasco,
Here.
Kirsten Erickson, Robert Perry doesn't appear to be here, Bruce Suffern, Nanette Gutenkoff, Adam Walensky is not present, Robert Gorski,
Here.
Mike Densford.
Here.
Great. 6 people constitutes a quorum.
Okay, so we have a quorum. We can move on to the next agenda item, which would be approval of the previous meeting minutes from June 9th, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve, discussion, or?
Motion to approve?
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Abstain.
Abstain? Okay.
Okay,
Let the record show Mr. Gorski abstains.
got it. Who seconded that one?
I did.
Yeah.
Bruce, okay, thank you.
Okay, we got a large audience out there, so one at a time, please step up to the podium and we'll entertain your comments.
Oh, you're not, or public comment, you're the, it's okay. You're gonna be up there real soon.
Okay, in lieu of any public comments, we will move on to the next agenda item, which would be the BEDA grant request from Moore Brewery.
Sure thing, and then Mr. Davis will be up there in a minute to elaborate on this big project. And I don't have to explain to anybody who this is or where it is or what they do. And they did come before the EDC in very late 2022. For the record, I'm going to note that Commissioner Lewinsky is present. And I'm just going back, as I do, for just a little historical perspective, and it's not ancient history. It's just about 2.5 to 3 years prior to that, unbeknownst to many people. We worked with the brothers, Sonny and Perry Patel, for years. I'm apologizing already for the blinking and the technology, but it took quite a few years to put this deal together. But long story short, I won't belabor it. Their initial investment was roughly $4 million. That wasn't all the construction cost alone. That included some soft costs and architecture, but just to give you a sense of the very large investment that put Moore Brewing in business about a little over 2 years ago. So their prior BEDA grant went through the process in late 2022 and got approved by the board that December, which I note because when the BEDA program was originally put in place, there was a 3-year hold on a property being able to come back and reapply for further improvements, but that's been reduced to 2 years. So there you go. And there's a nice picture. We have many of their opening day when the line was around the block to get in over there. So what brings them here before you again today is an application for a louvered roofing system with, I'm not sure exactly how to say it, but I just say Status Technology Outdoors. And that's kind of a photo of what it would look like. The project summary, you have the quotes and documentation of this. It's just one contractor, so it's not like you see sometimes 5, 6, 10 different contractors or providers, putting together a project, but it is a big one. So the system includes motorized louvers designed to make it more weather resistant. They estimate a loss of seating capacity. I'll let the manager elaborate on that a little bit, instead of just stating what he's put in the application. But as we talk about from time to time here at the EDC, particularly when it comes to outdoor dining, we always say, you know, this can be a harsh environment sometimes with months of snow and ice and very hot, uncomfortable weather and rain. And anyway, this would allow them to make better use of that rooftop beer garden. And they also project an increase in revenue as a result of this project. That's the very brief summary of it. It's pretty straightforward. So the quotes you have in your packet there add up to about $209,000, which obviously more than doubles the maximum BEDA grant amount by a significant amount. The application, Mr. Davis wrote $250,000, but that would include, again, there's other costs involved besides just equipment when you do something like this. And of course, as we also have seen, and then I've seen, as I've processed the actual grants, a lot of times they actually end up becoming more expensive. Sometimes there's unforeseen issues. I'm not sure I've ever seen one come in under the quote yet. So they've requested a maximum $50,000 grant, which would come out to a little less than quarter of the cost for this louvered roof system. And to answer one of the questions that typically comes up before it's asked, this would only be the second BEDA application for this fiscal year that started May 1st, but we still have one pending. You recall J.C.'s was here before you, I think in February, before the fiscal year rolled over. But the way we pay them, whenever a check is cut, it comes right out of that fiscal year. We don't carry over any BEDA funds from year to year. It's just a regular line item. So right now we've got about $28,000 already dedicated for this cycle. So again, we have ample funding for it, full funding, $250,000. Oh, jumping ahead. Then staff makes the recommendation for the maximum. But to answer some of the more finer points on this project, I think Mr. Davis, Ross Davis here is ready to come up and tell you a little more about it and answer any of your questions, if you will. And then this is for Mr. Davis and also the commissioners. I've been doing the minutes since Joey left the village, so please make sure that little green light is on when you speak. I had a hard, there were only a few questions the last meeting, but I had a hard time figuring out who was asking. Yeah. So is the green lights on?
Green light's on.
Very good.
Yeah, Tony, thank you. That was a great summation of the application. Before I dive into any other details, are there any questions that you would like to ask of me? No. Long story short, you've all pretty much been into our building. The rooftop is the place to be in the summertime. We would like to make that the place to be year-round no matter what. The neat thing with this louvered system, it's not just covering the top of the patio. That obviously helps a lot when we have all this intermittent rain that we've been having over the last essentially 3 to 4 weeks. It's a gigantic burden on not only the team but the guest, which does reduce not only revenue, guest satisfaction, increases labor, you name all the different things that are hurdles with the weather being such an impact on our building. This system will allow us to operate as if the weather doesn't exist. So the neat thing is during the summer months, we're really not going to have to use more than just the louvered system. We're going to do things like fans, lights, and all that stuff to make that space feel what it needs to feel. The whole idea, I mean, I can hear Sonny in my head when he was pitching this to you guys about what we want to do with this rooftop space and have that open air feel. We're still going to have that vibe to it, right? Because this thing will open up fully, so you can still have that idea of what they wanted and what they pitched to you guys when they wanted to open up this business here. But beyond that, I see this more as a, what do we do with that space in the downtime? And as we all know, we live in as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest places to live in the world, but the weather doesn't always cooperate with that sentiment. So in the winter months, as Tony was describing earlier, what do? Well, we just shut that thing down, and it's not creating any revenue for us at all. We have expanded our events program significantly in the last 2 years. We already have on the books 5 weddings that are 100 to 150 people plus. This would allow me to do that no matter the day of the week, no matter the month of the year. That's the big thing for me. I want to really expand on those private events that we do. Beyond that, I want to make this easier for my team to be able to operate that building. And to me, if it's easier on the team, if it's good for my customer, and it's good for my business, that's the trifecta. So that's the ultimate goal for what we're trying to do here with this project.
What does the 10 to 12% or just 10% annually come out to?
Yeah, good question. So we're right at roughly $2 million a year annually, so figure this will add at least 20. I'm conservative on this, knowing that I've got these 5 booked out, and that's over the next like 8 months. The second I can install this thing, I can advertise it'll be done by this time. Let me walk that back, and I'll answer your question tangentially. They project that the way that this comes together is super simple. They basically build it for you off-site, then deconstruct, ship, and it's like Legos coming together, like building a really complicated IKEA set. So as far as getting it up and operational, it'll be very quick, a couple of months turnaround. So the second I know that, the second I can start advertising for December, January, February, March, you know, if you have a last minute event that you don't have a space for, I've got it, and here's what it looks like. So I think I'm conservative on it, but I would rather be conservative than.
How many people are you going to advertise for?
Like space-wise, capacity on that rooftop with this enclosed is about 125 to 150. And then you got the first floor too, which adds like another 95.
Okay.
So in theory, I could have 2 private events at the same time, which that would be an awesome problem to have.
Will the retractable roof still allow for the same environment you have now?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Umbrellas and the
Could you
tables
go
and
back to
everything?
that first image? It kind of gives you a really good idea. So these things will become perpendicular 90 degrees. Well, I guess 180 degrees if you're looking at it from this perspective. So you'll still be able to see up into the sky. Everything will still be there. And then what's nice is it has a like a weather sensing system to it, to where we don't have to do anything. If it senses
Turn on
rain,
by itself?
it will shut on its own. And then it's got a gutter system built into it too, so there's no risk of like leaks. And what sets them apart from some of the other companies that we've looked at in the past is it creates an actual mechanical bond where there are magnets at the ends of these louvers that shut, and there is like virtually no risk of leaking. They're a company out of Florida, so they deal with like hurricane season. They've built up in Colorado, they've built in Canada, so they've dealt with heavy snowfalls and things of that nature. So this was, as far as I was concerned, the best technology that I've seen, and also the price point was far and away the best that I've seen too.
You
Are there
agree?
sidewalls?
There will be, yeah. I'm sorry?
What are they made of?
I believe it is the same type of aluminum that the louver material is made out of as well, and they're retractable as well. So there's like screens that can come down. Yeah, yeah. Because I'm going to need to create an environment that is heatable. And while we had already plumbed for gas, if you don't have a space that's enclosing it, obviously you're losing a ton of that energy just to the atmosphere. So if we can have it where those sides come down, I can make it very, very comfortable in that space. And that was the whole idea, was if it can be metal, all the better. But in the summer months, what do you do when you still want a little bit of shade or things of that nature? They make screens that come down too. So it's kind of like, do I want both, or do I want just the metal and just deal with that for the winter months? And just have,
Kind of like an addition.
Sure, yeah, I mean, think about how these curtains come down. It would look just like that if it were the screens that they do. That's actually, Tony, I don't know if you have any other images loaded up, but otherwise,
In the packet,
in the packet,
was
you'll
an application.
see, I don't know if I shared an image of it, but I can share it with you guys if you need it. There was a rendering of what the shades look like on their own if we wanted to go just that route. But obviously, I want to do a full enclosed space. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, as far as they've expressed to us, super simple to do. Really not much. You would add on a little bit to the facade, and that would bring down the curtain.
Envision that roof being in that position most of the time, or
From your mouth to God's ears.
is it going to be retracted so
So I would,
in the sun?
so long as the weather's right, it's going to look like that. If the weather's not right, it's going to close. So whether that be snow, whether that be rain, whatever it is. Have you dined on that rooftop when it started to rain? Has anyone dined on that rooftop? Yeah. You guys see the mad scramble it is to get everybody inside and make sure we're trying to do right by our customers and all that. It's challenging is putting it kindly. So for that perspective alone, I see this being worthwhile, not to mention the other things that are going to be a benefit from this.
Given the location of the wall, and I'm looking at the picture here, so I'm just trying to ascertain with the staircase coming up, is that still an egress then, once your screens close up?
Yeah, good question. There will be a door there that you could still go in and out of, because we would that is required from a fire standpoint to have that 2 points of egress. So yes, that is incorporated in their proposal to us. I'm not sure if it's specifically outlined, but something that we discussed with them is we need to have 2 points of egress per fire code, so they understand that.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Tony, I think this is a great project, and I'm all for it. The point I'd like to make, however, is that every restaurant that has patio dining faces the same hardships. And so, for example, JC's has a big patio that they built in the back. They would benefit from this. They would benefit from a louvered roof system as well. I went to Atlas Chicken a couple of times. They've become one of my favorites, Atlas Chicken. They like to do a lot of stuff outdoors. I just wonder, is the village going to approach the restaurant community and kind of let them know that the BEDA grant is available to them to consider doing not the exact same thing, obviously, but something to facilitate protection for their patio dining?
In a word, yes, but with an asterisk. When we send those out, they're more generic, and they're saying, here's the different things that you can use it for, not necessarily just trying to get people to enclose their outdoor areas. The restaurants that you mentioned, the older ones, JC's obviously used for an example, is aware of the program. They just were approved recently, so they wouldn't be eligible for nearly 2 more years. They're about to do the improvements that they were approved for early this year. But the answer is yes. We're still promoting the program. We're looking at ways to improve it. We like to bring a variety of businesses here, in front of you. And yeah, that's something we can make them aware of.
So Bruce, from where I sit, it's totally a different scenario too. They own the building. Their revenues cover this. Like the increase in revenue that they're expected covers this very quickly. It's way less of a risk to the town. So I think that's got to be stated than an Atlas or a JC's, that this would be the same scope of project, but their expected revenues and taxes off those revenues just aren't there.
Personally, as a business owner, I own Banbury Fair across the street from you. Sure. And so the size of the business, or the volume of their sales, I don't know are pertinent to a BEDA grant application as much as my request would be that the restaurant owner's boss's signature has spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of restaurants have spent a lot of money. It would seem to me, and again, I think this is a great thing.
Yeah.
Speak into the microphone more. Thank you.
Great thing. I just think that the restaurant community shouldn't necessarily have to learn about this through the back door. I think it should be an upfront. You own a
Back door being what,
restaurant,
them seeing it?
please consider in your future plans as you're considering expansion or as you're considering what, patios, consider the fact that this kind of an addition, this kind of because everybody wants patio dining, brother. Everybody wants patio dining.
Yeah, so
We
it's
can do
permanent, it's
that.
eligible.
During the pandemic, for those of you who were in the EDC in like spring, summer of 2020, we came up with an email blast system to the business community, and there are some subcategories. There's not every subcategory, but we can do it. We can send it directly to restaurants only.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Bruce, do you mind if I add? I see this as a high tide rises all ships moment, right? I mean, I would love it if the city could come together and support these businesses this way, because what we all want is more revenue for the town, and obviously if people are coming in and enjoying what we have to offer more, it's better for everybody. So for me, that, if we're, not to put a feather in our cap, but I feel like we built a beautiful building. If we're an example of what this can be like for other businesses, nothing would make me more proud than that.
I think it's a great, great, great idea. I do. And it's something that on my property, for example, wouldn't work. And I'm sure for a lot of business, a lot of restaurants won't work. However, I just think that it would be appropriate to let them know that as they're planning the future, they're behind this kind of a project.
What a better way to say that than approving the project?
Yeah, maybe taking it a step further, like all the BEDA stuff, there should be some marketing. Hey, this is what the town's been doing with their slot money or whatever we're doing. But that would be good just in general, to your point, like to raise awareness to the projects that we have approved and how it's helped.
Absolutely. I'll take that to heart. We have a lot on our plate, but I could do, it's been a while since I've done one of those blasts, announcing the program. It used to be front page top item in the Bartlett Examiner when that publication existed, and then that week my phone would ring off the hook when they would read like O'Hare's got one or Banbury Fair or More Brewing got one, and a lot of the marketing was people hearing about it through word of mouth, through local publications, through our social media. And that doesn't happen as much as it did. Also, we used to have a lot more BEDA applicants.
That new bakery, for example.
The new bakery, right?
And they face west, and that, they cook there. It's hot. There's no awning there. They desperately need the town center. Awnings over there to facilitate. They should, it would be good to say, hey, here's the beta grants, you could use it for an awning or whatever.
I'd like to make a motion to accept to recommend for approval the $50,000 BEDA grant for More Brewing.
Okay.
Take a vote, Tony?
Second.
Okay, I can take roll. Jerry Kabaska,
Yes.
Bruce Suffern,
Yes.
Adam Lewinsky, Robert Gorski,
Yes.
Mike Densford,
Yes.
Annette Gutenkopf, and Kirsten Erickson. Great, thank you. This is a recommendation that will be forwarded to an upcoming Village Board committee meeting for their review before they schedule it for a final vote.
Sure. Well, thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for appearing.
Yeah, better application than most too.
Yeah, our next agenda item would be
Actually laid out.
Lake Street TIF update. Tony?
Yes, thank you, Jerry. I know I wrote TIF update, but I want to focus on one particular property that's been asked about quite a bit over the years. You all know it well. This is 555 West Lake. This is the abandoned gas station that's been sitting and falling apart and with code violations over the past many years. And it's a village-owned property now. The village went through the steps to acquire ownership of this property. That just happened roughly a month-ish ago, maybe even a little less than a month. You can see this nice sign that we had our Public Works sign people put together. This was the only way for a while, almost to date, that we've been marketing it, besides that and some social media. And those signs alone got about 25 to 30 people call me in the first week, similar amount last week. Mostly gas station owners with interest in it. It's not to say that it's going to for sure end up another gas station. It's just what the overwhelming response has been so far. We're also promoting it for possible coffee or restaurant type of use. There's no deal struck yet. What you will see there in the coming months is, I believe even tomorrow night, the village board is going to be looking at a contract to remove the underground storage tanks from the property. There's no first Tuesday meeting in August due to National Night Out, but this third Tuesday, we have on schedule, I believe, some demolition information. So we hope, the plans are, in the next few months, you'll see the tanks will be removed and the building will be demolished. I did get some calls of people who just wanted to put, I don't know how else to say it, some lipstick on the pig of the building and kind of patch it up, but we're planning on taking it down. So I wanted to focus on that property. It's on a prominent corner, lots of people see it. It's 0.9 acres, and like I said, just those two signs, the signs alone have resulted in several dozen calls. We had staff put together a video. I'm going to crank up the volume on this, so it's going to be, the volume will be coming out of the laptop, assuming this works, but we'll show you. Well, that's after I hit the sound on it.
Never would have happened, Joe.
I had it working earlier. I'm gonna get it. Oh, boy. Well, let me give this one more go, the old college try. Or I'm gonna, yeah. You have the expertise on this?
If you go to your menu bar down here, you'll see like where the sound is. If you might have to. Just for a moment.
Yeah, I got that earlier through that way,
Yeah,
okay.
if you look here, they might be trying to.
Oh, I see it, I see it.
You see it, if you click on that, and then you look at. Click on this little button here. It's looking for.
That's good news that that thing is going.
Yeah, been sitting there for a long time.
Our first apartment was right behind that gas station, Bartlett Lakes.
Yeah, I cranked it up to how loud as it would go.
Hit the
Is it a marathon then?
button. So if you
I
click,
think it's
Is it a marathon then?
Standard station,
Standard.
yeah,
or Amico,
volume's good, speakers.
and it was very, very busy, it had 3 bays. Got 3 bids
Was a Marathon Station last, right?
last.
Yeah.
It worked when you weren't.
I kind of recall it was Standard Station.
Yeah.
Well,
That's why.
yeah, this video, the short version of it is, it talks about the high visibility location within a TIF district, up to 40,000 vehicles per day between the two. That comes out to about 36,000 or so on Lake Street over there, and another 10,000 or so on North Bartlett Road. We don't have the full turning movements, so to speak, so we're not gonna split hairs, but about 40,000 vehicles per day go past that. The video with sound, I'm sorry? It should still play. Yeah.
Is that property going to have to undergo a lot of environmental overhaul?
Sometimes imagine they get leaking tanks.
Yeah, it says it in there.
Take the shit out of it and clean it up and all that.
That's why.
It's $60,000 remediation.
How much? 260?
Remember all the stuff they had to go through with Tom Marth's station and Jim Jensen?
And Jim Jensen's. I don't think they ever took the tanks out. That's why it's a parking.
Uh-huh.
Disconnect.
Yeah, I
They
think
just
I remember.
rolled it- They just blacktopped over them.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
We've been getting, well, you know what, I'm gonna wrap this one up and say that we've been getting a lot of calls on this. Hopeful to get a good user in there. Because it's in a TIF, we have the ability to enter into a redevelopment agreement. What I've been telling the callers on it is that the village's contract estimates, much like I just said about More Brewing, and much like I've said about a lot of BEDA recipients in the past, including Banbury Fair's barn, and a lot of times the prices come out different than what the estimates are. But the estimates the village has roughly equate to $260,000. So if it sells to a gas station in particular, I could say that's probably about the price. We would try to recoup that. If it goes to a different type of user, I'm not going to speculate too much on who that might be, but because it is in the newly created Lake Street TIF, it gives us the opportunity to enter into a redevelopment agreement. So if some real more desirable user came along for that, it gives the village board, the mayor and board, the opportunity to do that. So that was the one I wanted to highlight, and we'll show you the video or you'll probably see it in your social media. It's on our LinkedIn. Any questions about 555?
Does the village have a preferred use in mind for that property?
Well, right now, we're marketing it as sales tax generating. It's kind of broad, but sending it to some coffee shop, some coffee businesses, a few restaurants, and like I said, probably had over 20 calls already from gas stations, without exaggeration, probably 25 or so.
Corner
Yeah.
gas stations like that?
I'm sorry?
Right on the corner, gas stations like that?
They love it because there's a long stretch of road without one over there.
Sure is.
Yeah. And that's what they've seen over there for decades. I don't know how old that gas station is. It's been there for a long time.
So I'd like to comment, I applaud the village's aggressiveness and progressiveness in trying to take care of a problem property, like you did with Lucky Jack's,
Absolutely.
turned into More Brewing, so hopefully you have a similar.
Worked out okay. Are the tanks there, are they usable, salvageable?
No, those are, environmentally, they have to be removed.
Yeah, right.
We all rusted out now.
Is Tom's across the street, is that property for sale and part of the TIF district, Tony? Tom?
Where Tom's is located is on state IDOT right-of-way. They do own some properties in the TIF, but they're not located on one that they own. They've been leasing from the state.
not been dissolved then, the IDOT property right for the Elgin O'Hare, or is that?
The IDOT right-of-way is kind of central to the redevelopment plans and the road realignment that the village is taking charge on. That's part of the long-term redevelopment of the TIF district, is a road realignment roughly in that area.
Bartlett Road,
Yeah,
from way back when.
yeah.
I think I've seen that in the past.
Yeah, we'll work with Tom's, value their longevity over there and find a good spot for them if and when that happens.
Well, that kind of brings up a question. What's the timeline on the Elgin O'Hare extension?
Well, it's not exactly the Elgin O'Hare extension. We're not really incorporating that in the long-term plans anymore. That's been on the books for decades. What we're talking about is the village working with IDOT and taking charge and using, the TIF to help facilitate the road realignment. That doesn't include the Elgin O'Hare extension in the plans.
Refresh me, is that extension going into Elgin through Bartlett, or is Bartlett going to be property involved? It's called the Elgin.
Are you asking about
Oh, the
Elgin
Elgin O'Hare,
O'Hare
right.
extension proceeding through Bartlett?
I assume it's going to go into Elgin, isn't it? Wasn't it always the plan?
Yeah, that's been talked about for decades. It really hasn't
'Cause it's always been
moved
called the
forward.
Elgin O'Hare.
And we're more shifting our focus when it comes to that redevelopment area of working the village and IDOT working together to facilitate some road widening, some turn lanes, and we don't discuss the extension of Elgin O'Hare anymore. That's something, the plans, I can't sit here myself and declare like it's not, it's definitely not going to happen, but that's something that has held up development in that area for many years. One of the reasons it hasn't been developed and one of the reasons that it qualifies as blighted and a TIF was because a lot of properties weren't being made available for development because of those plans on paper, platted, of the Elgin O'Hare coming through. We talk with IDOT about road improvements in that area, and we've shifted our focus. We don't talk about that extension. It's the road realignment with the village taking charge of it is the main road improvement that's supposed to happen in that area.
In general, what would generate more taxes, a busy restaurant or a gas station?
It depends on the size and the scope of the gas station. A lot of gas stations, I don't meet with a lot of gas station owners, but there have been some new gas stations since I've worked here. A lot of them consider themselves convenience stores with gas pumps. So most of their profit is in the convenience store with maybe a few cents per gallon in terms of profit on gas. The village gets MFP, motor fuel taxes in general. What can be more profitable? From a profit perspective, they can be similar, but I suppose you would have to see what restaurant it is. If you compare more brewing to a little, mom and pop diner or something like that. The restaurants can range anywhere from, $500,000 up to several $1 million in revenue.
Any further questions from the commission? Okay. Thank you, Tony. We can move on to agenda item number 7 then, new business, if there's any to discuss.
I just wanted to mention MEGAs. We talked about it last month that we were working with the same people as ISSAs. Commissioner Suffern had mentioned them as potential BEDA recipients. We did a BEDA grant to the prior tenant there, you recall, about 3 years ago, I would say, Rebecca's, but they've done some remodeling and they've opened their place to a lot of success about 2 weeks ago. So we now have a nice place with baked goods right across the street. There's a new Leaf Animal Hospital has opened also in Westgate Commons Shopping Center. So we've got a few new businesses. I mentioned to you one of the upcoming BEDA applicants could be the new Italian restaurant with the wood-fired pizza that's also coming to Westgate Commons. That's in the area where Wheaties, or the space where Wheaties used to be located. And one last thing I could mention that Nan could probably elaborate on, I think there's like a Salon Suites opening up, doing a grand opening next week. Yeah, so yeah, we've got a few new places in the works, and I always say there's more that we're working on coming soon that we hope to bring before you. Thank you.
Well, if we have no further discussion on new business, we can move on to the final agenda item, which would be adjournment. Do we have a motion?
I motion we adjourn. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.
You know that property right across from Eastview?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Eastview Junior High?